Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brendan, aka Triple D, and I'm back with another story time for you guys. And with this story time, it's kind of a stupid one. Honestly, don't do what I do in the story time. It's it's not the brightest idea. Anyways, let's get it started. So this all happens back in around second grade for me, and in second grade, uh, well, to say the least, growing up, I was broke, right? Like, my parents didn't have much, but we managed to get by with what we had. And, so I had this friend who lived down the street from me, who we were going to call Chaz. And Chaz and I would always, uh, play with Bakugan and all that, like, kind of stuff back in the day, like Pokemon cards, Bakugan, Beyblades, all that good stuff. And, so Chaz, he grew up kind of privileged, and his parents had a lot of money, to say the least. And basically, I was jealous of that. He always had the newest and freshest Bakugan and like all those. And basically, this story revolves around Bakugan. So around this time, my mom was working at Kmart before they, went bankrupt. And I would go to Kmart before she like got off work so that she could drive me home, and it wasn't too far from where my school was. And one day I was in the toys aisle and I seen them fresh Bakugan, like these Bakugan, they were looking good. Like they just looked like they needed to be mine. And the only way I was making that happen was by trying to ask my mom. So I went up to my mom while she's working, and I was like, "Hey, mom, uh, can I get these Bakugan?" And she's like, "Brendan, I'm sorry, but you can't get those Bakugan." It's always good to tell your kids no. Like, it's always good. And me, being a little punk kid, I was upset about it. I threw a temper tantrum. I was like, "But mom," she's like, "Brendan, I know how bad you want it, but not everyone gets what they want." Anyways, I'm like, "Fine, mom." And then fast forward a bit, I'm eyeing these Bakugan, man. And this is where I do something stupid. I take the Bakugan box. It was like a box that had like six of them in it, so it was like $30 back then. And so I take this box of Bakugan, I hide it under my shirt, and I go into the Kmart bathroom, and I just start unwrapping that box, bro. I just start putting on the Bakugan into my pockets, and I was wearing these swimming trunks that had pockets on the inside, so I thought I was being slick. And so there's like six Bakugan in my pockets, and I'm like, all right, cool, mission done. I left the trash all over the floor, and I tried to rip it up and like flush it down the toilet. And the toilet got clogged, so it wouldn't go down. So there's that too. And anyways, my mom was getting out of work, and she's like, "Hey, Brendan, let's go." And I thought I was slick, bro. I thought I got away with it. So I'm like, "All right, let's go." And we go. And then when we get home, I went over to my friend's house. And Chaz, he was like, "Hey, Brendan, you got new Bakugan." I was like, "Yeah, boy, I stole them." He's like, "What do you mean you stole them?" And I was like, "Yeah, I stole them from Kmart. Isn't that cool?" He's like, "Bro, you shouldn't have done that." I was like, "Bro, but I did it." And long story short, he went and he told his parents. And I was like, "Bro, come on." And his parents, they were like, "Listen, Brendan, we don't really want to get you in trouble. So if you fess up to it to your mom, then basically we won't tell her." And I was like, "Okay, I appreciate that." I wasn't gonna tell my mom, but I was gonna tell her that I like did tell her. So, anyways, I go home later that night, and I'm playing with my new Bakugan. I'm like, "Yeah, these Bakugan, they're where it's at, bro. Like, I love these things." And so I'm like playing with them. My mom sees them. She's like, "Oh, did you trade Bakugan with Chaz?" And I was like showing off earlier. I was like, "Yeah, I stole them." So I told her, I was like, "No, mom, I stole these Bakugan." And I'm like laughing. She's like, "You did what?" I was like, "Yeah, I stole these Bakugan. Like, screw Kmart. I needed them. I couldn't get them, so I got them myself." And my mom was furious. She's like, "No, you are not doing that." So, anyways, she basically took me back to Kmart, And she told her manager, and her manager was all like, well, there's nothing we can really do about it because he's a kid. And then she's like, no, I got something for him. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? So, anyways, I'm like sitting in the back room getting yelled at by my mom. And then 5 minutes later, this cop walks in. I'm like, ain't no way. There's a cop in here, bro. And he walks up to me, little second grader Brendan. He's like, alright, I'm gonna need you to stand up and put your hands behind your back. I was like, bro, ain't no way I'm getting arrested for stealing Bakugan. And he's like, yep, you shouldn't be stealing. You're way too young to be doing stuff like that. I don't even know where you got that bright idea. Like, come on. Also, right after I opened up this chest, I found another purple shotgun. It's kind of, oh, I'm upset about it. Anyways, so he's like, yeah, you shouldn't be stealing. I'm like, bro, come on, you don't gotta do this. And basically, this cop handcuffs a second grader. He's like, alright, well, we're confiscating your Bakugan, and you're going in the back of the squad car, and you're going to juvenile hall. And I just started crying. I was like, bro, please, 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 don't take me to jail. I'm not trying to go to jail. And he's like, nope, you gotta go to jail. You can't be stealing. Stealing is wrong, Brendan. Don't be stealing. I was like, come on. So they take me to the back of the car, and I'm like crying, and my mom's like waving goodbye to me, and she's like laughing. I'm like, bro, that's seriously, that's messed up. And then the cops get in the car and they just start driving towards the police station. And I'm like crying. I'm like, I'll never do it again. And then the cop, he pulls over and he gets out of the car. And then he's like, all right, well, have you learned your lesson? And I start crying. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you shouldn't be stealing, or else this is going to be you in the future. You're going to be in the back of the cop car going to jail. I was like, I was crying, but I was relieved. I was like, I will never do it again. And basically, yeah, the cop was like, alright, well, seems like you learned your lesson. He took me back to my mom. And she grounded me. She took away all my old Bakugan too. And I didn't get those back for a long time. And yeah, I lost my Bakugan. And I got put in the back of a cop car for stealing Bakugan. So that's pretty cool. Not cool at all. If there's a lesson to be learned from the story time, don't do what I did. Don't steal from your mom's work, and don't steal and tell people about it, especially. That's kind of stupid. If you guys enjoyed this story, leave a like down below, maybe even subscribe for more story times. Yeah, peace out, guys. Thank you for watching.